Welcome and thank you for joining us in this part 7 of our van build series. In our last vlog, we trimmed our living area to cab divide, showing you how to make good those not so complete plywood kits. Nikki made an excellent job of covering the rear and sliding doors with stretch carpet.
I'm trimming carpet.
We fitted a window surround with a stainless steel look using coated acrylic from Skybond. And completed our full run of overhead cabinet framework. In this vlog, we will be installing all of the appliances and systems and explaining how our choices have been influenced by budget and that all-important van lifestyle. Wicked! So let me take you back because that is a very important point and reflects on how this video plays out. Your van lifestyle is pretty much how you wish to live from your van, fulfilling all your expectations, accommodating opportunities, interests and activities. Your van lifestyle will have a huge influence on your choice of van, layout and cost, so it's a huge consideration. Next is your van life style. This allows for creativity, choosing layout, build materials and palette to produce an environment that's comfortable, making for a cosy home from home. Now your van lifestyle can have a huge influence on budget, just as budget could have a huge influence on your van lifestyle. So when planning your van build, accept compromises may have to be made, but don't worry, vans can always be upgraded, and our lifestyles may often change anyway. Your van lifestyle is personal to you, and is as different as every van build. There's no one build that fits all, as what works for one van lifestyle may not work for another. Now bearing that in mind, all appliances and systems in this van build have been dictated by styling and budget, and as we'll see probably in our next vlog, I think we've pretty much been right on target. So let's see perhaps what we haven't got, and how that's allowed us to hit those targets without too much compromise. We did not put a shower into this van build, and here's why. For as much as we all love a shower, in a small tin can environment, it takes up a lot of space, a lot of resources, and can cost a small fortune to facilitate. Of course it appeared on the initial list of wants, but became obvious with the criteria of a weekends away and campsites being favoured. It made sense to make use of a top-to-toe tail wash and use the facilities of the campsite rather than use up your own resources. There was therefore no need for a gas supply, a large water supply, large waste containment, a heat and storage source and the shower system itself, and we therefore saved between £2,000 and £3,000 approximately, in favour of just boiling a kettle on an induction hob via the EcoFlow already supplied. This would also favour an LPG-free environment, and therefore omit all of those safeguards we'd need to build in to facilitate the LPG. The EcoFlow therefore takes centre stage, and has its own prominent place to access its 240, 12 and 5 volt ports. Installed as a dedicated DC to DC charge supply, as well as a feed from solar and 240 volt shore power. Some systems though I've split, making use of the van's existing 12 volt supply, allowing the EcoFlow to remain portable whilst maintaining some basic habitat systems. Without a shower, a habitat becomes a more spacious and comfortable environment, and for this build allowed for a comfy seating area with a pull-out table and could keep us well on budget. The water system was therefore simple and economical. A 60 litre supply was adequate and saved much weight at 1 kilo for every additional 1 litre of water that wasn't needed. A shoreflow water pump moved the water, and an expansion vessel would maintain an even pressure over a distance to the tap. A Truma water heater dump valve is a handy bit of kit for draining the system at the end of a season. The system culminates at a two-way faucet, and rather than leaving one-way blank, having no hot water source, we fitted a Water 2 water filter to give us clean fresh water to drink and cook with. The Water 2 filter was an easy fit, using a selection of domestic and John Guest parts, and to make sure all was secure, I adopted a cycle water bottle holder for the easiest of mounting and systems accessibility. Now the water and main light system I run independently of the EcoFlow from the van's own battery. The lights use so little power as to have any great impact on power storage levels, and the water pump is used so infrequently to also make much of a difference. As I mentioned earlier, this allows the EcoFlow to remain portable, maintaining basic habitat functions, but also keeps the maximum system's power draw below the 30 amp maximum that can be supplied by the EcoFlow, which is a huge consideration. Keeping food fresh for an extended period of time is another large consideration. Swing motor compressor fridges have been a game changer in the industry, performing well with relatively low power consumption. And as the popularity has increased, there are many available at very competitive prices. We opted to fit in this van a chest freezer. The price favoured our budget, and style favoured our planned location and accessibility from beneath bench-style seating, maintaining our open plan and spacious styling remit. This bench seat also favours a very important necessity, and that is the very smart and compact JOOLCA Got to Go toilet system. Now, there are many people out there that will say you can use public toilets, you can go into the woods, but I envy those people. The majority of us, when you've got to go, you've got to go. So there are a couple of types of toilet that's available and most common for van builders to use. One is the chemical toilet, and the other is a separating toilet that separates the solids from the liquids and is a dry flush one. It doesn't have any water involved. Now, the chemical toilet, like the one we've got here, the porta potty in our camper van, is a nice little unit. It has two separate compartments, one at the bottom where your waste liquids and waste solids will go, and that will contain a liquid with a digester that's in there to actually digest away those wastes. And on the top you'll find there is a liquid compartment that will be the flush system that will have a disinfectant and something that smells nice. A chemical toilet the size of this small porta potty that we have in our camper van here will last the pair of us a couple of days, so it's a great little bit of kit. So therefore, what's not to like about a chemical toilet? Well, a chemical toilet can only be emptied in one type of place, and that's called an Elson point. And these Elson points are few and far between on the road. You'll find them mainly in campsites. And if you're on a campsite, more often than not, you'll use the campsite toilets anyway. So its use can be limited, and you'll often find that it's very, very difficult to actually find somewhere when you're on the road, if you're in a more off-grid situation, to actually dump all those chemical wastes. Because in this country, in the UK, we don't have a lot of Elson points. So let's take a look now at the waterless separating toilets that's often called composting toilets, and perhaps give a thought to why that might be the wrong terminology. So this is our Nature's Head separating waterless toilet, which is often called a composting toilet. However, that term is very, very loose, and I'll get to that in a minute. These toilets separate the solids from the liquids. The liquids end up in a nice little bucket here at the front, which you can dispose in public toilets or into Elson points, and into the rear, in a deep litter of either coconut coir, sawdust or peat, the solids are mixed, and with a fan extraction the smells are taken away and the solids dry up over a period of time. Now, Nikki and I use this van relatively infrequently, probably about 2 or 3 weeks a year and the odd weekend away, and I can honestly say we only empty this bin probably once a year. And when we do, it does pretty much look like compost. However, if you're using this type of system off-grid continuously, then it's going to need emptying a bit more frequently. And so much so that those solids wouldn't have had chance to have composted down. So it becomes more like a cat litter tray or a hamster cage rather than a composting toilet, where owners of these will often tip the bucket into a bag and bin it straight away. Now, that being the case, there are many alternatives out there now, other than this, which is the Nature's Head, which costs now over £1,000. There are products on the market now which are about a quarter or a third of the cost, and if they'd have been available at the time when we purchased this, what we would have chosen is the JOOLCA Got to Go. Now, why do I prefer the JOOLCA Got to Go over other models that are out there? I believe it to be a better built unit, a neater unit, a more attractive unit, even though you don't really want to see it, to be quite honest, but I believe it's packed full of features and has good quality seals compared to some of the ones I've seen. So in that situation where you're using the toilet a lot and you have to therefore empty it more often, nothing could be simpler than just bagging and binning, and that's what the JOOLCA toilet offers. It offers a facility to bag that solid waste and to simply just bin it wherever you find a location where it's safe to do so. Now, if the JOOLCA Got to Go had been available more than 5 years ago, I would have chose it because I believe it's good value for money over this Nature's Head toilet, and I would in a heartbeat install it into any future van build that we do. So much so that we've installed one into Darren's van, and we've bought another 2 to install into our next projects. That was a load of shit, wasn't it? Apart from 240 volt shore power fitted, primarily to charge the EcoFlow, that's pretty much all systems now installed into the van. Besides being simple yet reliable, these systems have kept us on budget without any real hardships on comfort. Up to this stage we have spent £700 on everything you've seen on this install, bringing our grand total to date to £6,350. Now we could have spent almost 3 times that on alternative systems, but I believe the cost would not justify the functions and comfort that just boiling a kettle on a hob wouldn't suffice with no real hardships. Could we have saved any money? Again, yes. There are much cheaper methods of pumping cold water through cheaper alternatives of faucet. That water 2 filter is a nice luxury where perhaps a simple jug filter would do. The fridge was pretty good value, but the JOOLCA toilet can be swapped out for something slightly cheaper, or even a homemade affair. In our next vlog, we will be completing the van build by applying all the pretty bits that make this build the ideal home for van life adventures. Doors will be fitted to the overhead lockers, drawers will be fitted to units, and we'll get Paul involved again to fit an oak worktop to match the pull-out table. We'll trim the area above the sliding door and reveal the total cost of this build.
That's it now. Bye. Oh, rod into the wall.
Thank you again for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to not miss out on our exciting new projects that are coming up in 2026.